see how this goes. Hopefully I don't run out of gas. Just gauge goes, that'd be so funny. Now, hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be reviewing a 2022 Toyota 4Runner Trail Edition. First and foremost though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Tim Daly Nissan here in Murray, Utah for giving me some time with this 4Runner. They obviously do sell the new Nissan product, but they have a massive amount of used vehicles for sale as well, including this 4Runner. So definitely check out the inventory in the description down below. And then on a side note, if you save time and money, the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get in the video. So under the hood, we have the tried and true 4-liter V6 that goes through a 5-speed automatic transmission. It is good for 270 horsepower and then 278 pound-feet of torque. And when I had a TRD Pro for the week, I averaged mid-teens from a fuel economy perspective. Now, going over the front end, you guys can see this is finished in Toyota's Army Green, which is just such a cool color. Definitely fits like the tank vibe of the 4Runner. But notice here at the hood how it's just large and flat. Coming down below, you guys can see with the projector bulbs and then with the fog lights right there. And then notice here with the grille, how everything's kind of like blacked out, right, including the Toyota logo. But you do have some body painted elements on top of that. And then we do have the high approach angle front bumper here, and looking underneath, it looks like we do have some skid plate protection as well. And well, there's the front end. Coming on the side here, we've got 285mm tires wrapped around 17-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. So I'd say that those look like they're 33s, which is pretty cool. Now, coming down below, you guys can see here with the suspension, you just have the standard 4Runner suspension with the Trail Edition. And then notice here with the body painted fender flare, you got the splash guard. We have the rock rail side steps here. And then notice all the black trim around the windows. We've got the storage there on the roof, also part of the Trail Edition, which is pretty cool, so that it's all set up for camping adventures. And frankly, it just looks cool. Ooh! So you guys can see here with the cargo area in the back of the 4Runner. Notice we have our outlet here in the back, and then we have the pull-out tray as part of the Trail Edition. Sorry, you got to pull this latch here. So this kind of adds to like the practicality. You could literally use this as like pretty much like a cooktop area. I'm not sure if that was the intended purpose. Also, 440 pounds. I mean, that's actually pretty heavy in terms of the max that you can put on this. We also have Toyota's first aid kit, and you guys can see here with the key fob for the 4Runner, just Toyota's normal key fob, nothing too fancy happening with that. But yeah, great storage space in the back, and I like that practicality. And it looks like you could also use that for like dogs, pretty big dogs too. 440 pounds is quite a bit. You do have this strap to pull it in. I'm guessing that's from inside because you've got this handle just up above it, and that is easier from a leverage perspective to close it from the outside. Now finishing things up with the rear, it's very dark because of the lighting here, but you guys can see here with the tail lights, you got the normal 4Runner tail lights. All the badges are all blacked out here with the receiver hitch down below. And then you can see here with the exhaust tip, which probably isn't as annoying as the TRD Pro exhaust tip, which kind of pokes out to the side, which I actually really like. And other than that, it's a 4Runner. Now popping inside, we've got a bunch of padding here on the door panel, which would make it very easy to clean, and frankly, it just feels nice to the touch. Now we do have cloth seats here in the Trail Edition, as you can see, and we do have those side steps. No grab handle, though. I wish I had a grab handle. I feel like I almost have to like kind of grab onto the seat there to pop in. But anyways, room back here is great. Got these little storage nets, and then notice there with the vents, then you got your USBs. Then we have our cup holder armrest set up, and let's head to the front. Now here's the front door panel. You guys can see again with the padding all over, and then notice here with our window controls, they're all automatic. Then quick look at the mirrors, and then again with the front seats, and then notice there with the cloth trim down the center. Got your adjustments here on the side, including the lumbar. Then here's the pedal layout down below with the hood latch release, and then notice there for the outlet to turn on, your mirror adjustment, and steering wheel is manually adjustable. Let's pop in. So here is the steering wheel for the Trail Edition. You guys can see that it's kind of like smoother here at the top and at the bottom, and then perforated here on the side so you can get a better grip. We do have our cruise control as well as our lane departure, and then this does have actually adaptive cruise control, which is pretty cool. Anyways, controls for the center stack, voice command, volume controls, phone controls, turn signal, light stock, windshield wiper stock, all the normal works, and there's the steering wheel. Now here is the center gauge cluster. You guys can see you've got analog gauges all around, and then you do have that screen there in the center which lets you scroll through different bits of info. As you can see, I'm a little bit low on fuel right now, but you can see like tire pressure, all that kind of stuff, which is pretty cool, and then your steering angle. So yeah, there you go. Now here is the center infotainment system. First off, if we pop it into reverse, we do have a backup camera with trajectory lines. They don't turn at the steering wheel, but you know, pretty solid overall. Now you guys will notice here with the screen itself, we got all these buttons here on the side. It's cool that we have analog buttons, so there's kind of like shortcut things to get to everything. Screen response time is actually pretty good. Something's funny about Toyotas is their screens don't look the most modern, but like they respond just as quick as, you know, any modern infotainment system. But yeah, so we've got our single zone climate system here in the Trail Edition, and then notice there with the little USBs. We've got our drive line select, basically push down to unlock. But anyways, we've got 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel high, and then 4-wheel low. And then we have our shifter for that 5-speed automatic. And then yes, we of course have the doggy window, is what I like to call it, there for the rear. And then notice here how it kind of like mimics the whole headlight situation. Big center console. And then big glove box as well. And then, yeah, you guys can see here with the materials in the dash again, would be very easy to clean. Now, popping up top, we got to go over some important stuff. So you guys can see here with the sunglass holder. Now this does have Toyota's stability control and A-track system and hill descent control. Does not have a locker, obviously, and it doesn't have their multi-terrain select either. So this is missing some equipment that like a TRD Pro, for example, would have. And well, there you go. Now, if you want the most up-to-date pricing on this Trail Edition, check out Tim Daly Nissan in Murray's website in the description down below. Let's hope we don't run out of gas. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility of the hood, both of the mirrors, and throughout the rest of the rear, and let's set off. So setting off here in this Trail Edition, and you guys know that I actually had a TRD Pro for a week, so I'm gonna make a ton of comparisons to the TRD Pro because, you know, obviously there is a pretty big price difference between both of them, but I feel like a lot of people, the 4Runners, you know, compare the different off-road packages because they're like, yeah, do I need to go TRD Pro, or can I, you know, save a little bit of money and go for something like the Trail Edition? First off, what I can tell you is on-road ride quality, really good, just like the TRD Pro. Now this does have more off-road oriented tires. Use your turn signal at the last minute. Some people. Again, just like the TRD Pro, it has more off-road oriented tires, which definitely help out. Something I've been mentioning throughout a lot of reviews is when you have larger tires, it kind of acts like a secondary shock absorber. That's why I hate massive wheels and you know, little bit of sidewall, because then you have just a rougher ride, right? So this having 17-inch wheels and then a bunch of sidewall, it helps it ride smoother, which I think is great. Aside from that, noise insulation is really good with the 4Runner, which is another big plus. And yeah, again, it kind of has this cool like tank type feel inside. I really like it. It's like, I don't know, you feel like you're just like enclosed in this like really sturdy, well-built vehicle. And that, you know, just goes across the 4Runner lineup. Now, one thing I am noticing with this versus the TRD Pro is the TRD Pro does have those TRD tuned shocks and Fox shocks, or sorry, TRD tuned Fox shocks and then TRD tuned springs. Again, it's like 97 degrees outside. I'm computing it like 49% right now, well, I would say, in terms of how well my brain is working. And anyways, you can actually perceive a difference in terms of the damping between this and a TRD Pro. Like you can actually feel, like going on these train tracks, this is really good, but it doesn't quite absorb things as well as the TRD Pro. Now that being said, I don't think it really matters for on-road use. It really only matters with off-road use when you're having larger compressions with the suspension Yeah, you can see there with the back end, that kind of like hop that I got in the back end, a little bit over those train tracks, you don't get that in the TRD Pro. It stays more planted, and just the absorption overall is a lot better. But again, doesn't really matter for on-road use. It's more important with off-road use, right? And I feel like a lot of people don't actually take these off-road, which is fine, because it's kind of like one of those vehicles that Toyota makes on-road versions and they make off-road versions as well. Now, aside from that, you know, this still has the normal 4Runner things. Still has comfortable seats, great driving position, and like I said, you feel like you're kind of like king of the hill in this, right? It's got that really nice commanding viewpoint, and it drives great overall. So let's sum things up with this. You know, exterior wise, I think that the Trail Edition looks great. If you just want the cool rugged appearance that the 4Runner can have with certain packages, Trail Edition. Save yourself tons of money over a TRD Pro and just go for the Trail Edition like this. Especially in today's market, like the premiums that people have to pay for TRD Pros, I think the TRD Pros are going for like $65,000, $70,000 for a 22, something way up there, way more than what a Trail Edition is going for. So yeah, I don't think it's worth the extra money if you're just looking for the cool looks. And then from a driving perspective, on road, yeah, there are some differences, but it's not as different as you'd think. Off-road, that's where you're going to see all of the differences. That's where the TRD Pro money actually starts to make sense, is when you actually take into account the off-road application. See how this goes. Hopefully I don't run out of gas. Just gauge goes. That'd be so funny. No, it wouldn't be. Yeah, the V6 is good. It's not fast or anything like that, but it gets up to speed. But yeah, that's where you get all the benefits, you know, because the TRD Pro has the rear locker, and again, having those more advanced set of shocks and the springs, and having the you know, multi-terrain select and everything, and like you basically your off-road cruise control with the TRD Pro. That stuff is all great for off-road, but if you aren't going to be doing any off-roading, then it doesn't matter. So yeah, I really like this Trail Edition. I think it looks great in army green, and I think this is the 4Runner for most people, because most people don't take these off-road. And I think for most people, this makes more sense than a TRD Pro. That's gonna sum things up for our video on this 4Runner Trail Edition. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Tim Daly Nissan in Murray for giving me some time with this 4Runner. Check out their website in the description down below. I'll see you guys.